Fall is finally here, and looking at the recent numbers, we're seeing that there's a lot more homes on the market, so buyers have a lot of options to pick from, even in the rental market. Residential condominiums and rentals, yet we're seeing the average prices not dropping as much as we expected. Why is that? We'll talk about all that and more in this episode of Ottawa Real Estate Buzz, so let's get going. Get into the specifics of why the average home prices are slowly creeping up, while at the same time there are a lot of units available for sale. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click that bell icon so you get notifications as soon as we make posts, and to like this video. Now, looking at the overall and what's happening so far in the market, we are seeing a lot of homes for sale. We'll take a look at the condominium, residential freeholds, and the rentals. Even the rentals, you have more activity. But how come the average sale prices aren't dropping, yet they're going up slowly? And one of the reasons is because of affordability. When there is lesser funds available by banks, it really limits the qualifications of buyers. Hence, the buyers have to go through a lot of levels in order to qualify, and at the time that they do, they are looking at the cost of a higher interest rate never seen in the past several years. So that's something to mentally adapt to and cope, and yet it really brings the affordability level lower. Now, because of that, the buyers are looking at the best of the best, if you want to put it that way. So what that means is that from all these units that are coming into the market, and I should say there's a significant number of units coming in that are tenant occupied. So these are landlords who are taking on variable mortgages, high variable mortgages, and they can't handle this anymore. They are dropping these units into the market. So we are looking at tenant occupied units, significant amount coming in. We are looking at units that are owner occupied, yet they require work, they've dated over time. We are looking at newer built units or older units that have been updated. And this last category that I just mentioned, most of these buyers that are in the market, they are aiming towards the best of the best, and I feel they have every right to do so, just because of all the stress that they are under to take on this risk of this market to purchase a home, because what's to come in the next year or next 2 years, right around 2025 is my prediction, is a lack of inventory, a lot of buyers coming back into the market, and resulting in a significant increase in overall prices. And to beat that, these buyers into this market, and of course you want the best. And at the same time, we have the sellers who are hopeful for a spring market where the prices will begin to bounce back up, and this is all relative to what the Bank of Canada is going to do with the rates. Now, they've decided to hold the rates as is, and if they decide to do so in the coming months, this will have a positive impact for sellers, hence increasing the average home prices. And even in this condition right now, as we are, yes, there are lesser number of homes being sold, there are more inventory in the market, but because of the fact that these buyers want the best, they are even willing to at times compete for this third category that I mentioned, with newer built homes or updated homes. And this is what is holding the average home price and even contributing to the slow increase of the average home prices. Okay, so now we'll get a better feel for what I'm saying when we take a look at the recent numbers of September. Ottawa and surrounding, looking at the number of sales for 2023, we had 8,556 units sold, and in 2022 it was 9,626. So that's a drop of 11%, while looking at the average sale price in 2023 we're at 731,511, and in 2022 788,000 approximately. That's the drop of 7%. It is lower than the previous year, but looking at the previous couple of months, we are climbing slowly. So steady and climbing. Looking at the condominium market, number of sales in 2023, 2,707, and in 2022, 3,228 units, and that's a drop of 16% approximately. And the average sale price of condominiums for 2023, we had 433,000 approximately, and in 2022, 457,000. That's a drop of 5.4%. And now taking a look at specifically in each category of residential, freehold, condominium, and rental market, and it will give us a better feel for what's happening. And the number of list versus sold units, looking at the month of September, we have an active number of listings of 1,827 units and only 570 sold units. And look at this now, significant, as I discussed, significant amount of inventory on the market, but there is that specific number of homes that are newer built, updated, that the buyers that are in the market are aiming towards. Hence, the number of sales is lower, yet the average price is holding. Looking at the previous year, again, we're seeing a similar trend because the interest rates was impacting the market similarly last year this time as well. And looking at September 2022, we had 1,664 active units and 572 sold units. So very similar in terms of inventory and the sold units to last year. Now taking a look at the residential freehold list to sold ratio, and we're at 97.9% to asking for the month of September, where it was 97% a year before. Very similar. Now the average prices, I could tell you it's holding, and we'll understand this better when we take a look at the next chart, looking at the average sale per month. For the month of September, we're at 785,000, so up from the previous month, and year over year we are higher. Now we're looking at the Ottawa Central, and last year was 751,000, so we are higher than last year. And my prediction is that in the next several months to come, towards the end of fall and winter as well, considering the seasonal aspect of it, things will be continually slow, and the biggest movement I feel will be the spring market, with the consideration of the rates not being touched by the Bank of Canada. Okay, taking up the residential days on the market, so we're looking at 27 days a unit sits on the market for the month of September, and it was 26 days year over year. So again, not a lot of change, as we say. So the average is holding steady. The number of days a unit sits on the market is staying steady. Yet we have more inventory, okay, and lesser units being sold. All right. So taking a look at the condominium market. Similar now to what it was to the previous year, holding the trend as it was. And the number of list versus sold units, we had 675 active units for the month of September and 231 sold units. And the previous year we had 702 active units and 249 units. Looking at the condominium list versus sold price ratio, we're looking at 97.6% to asking, and again it was 97.7%, very similar, so not a lot of change as far as to the previous year goes. And looking at the condominium average sale per month for the month of September, we're at 442,000 approximately, whereas it was 455,000 to the previous year. Yes, lower than the previous year, but compared to the previous months, it's really holding steady and slowly climbing. So keeping steady is how I see it for the months to come for this as well, for the condominium market. And look at the condominium days on the market for the month of September. We're looking at 31 days versus 28 days. Not a lot of change, and similar concept to what the residential freeholds, what's happening to the residential freehold. Now the rental market, and it's taken a bit of a turn, looking at the active units versus rented units. We had more inventory now, slightly. Again, it's a seasonal thing. We're at 538 active units and 391 rented units year over year. It was more available units, definitely much more. 733 active units for 2022 and 470 rented units. So we are still limited in the number of units available, and especially if you are looking for a newer built or an updated unit, similar to the condominiums or the residential freeholds. Rentals are a similar concept. The newer they are, the more updates they have, better floor plans, all will have an impact on the availability for you. Okay, and taking a look at the average rent per month for the month of September, you're at $2,791 versus $2,570. So we are higher than previous year. The average rent has gone up, and looking at the compared to the previous months, it's holding steady, and I feel like it's bound to increase and go up come this coming spring. And taking a look at the rental days on the market, you're looking at 23 days for the month of September and 20 days for the previous year. So not a lot of change. So there you have it. I hope you've gotten a better feel for what's happening. I gathered the main thing here is the intention or the decision of Bank of Canada, and to see what they're going to do, if they're going to touch the rates or not. Whether they do or not, this is only a temporary scenario and situation, because eventually there will be a point where they cannot touch the rates anymore, and hence we will come face to face with reality. And the reality is there will be much more buyers than the number of homes available. And then we'll see what the different levels of government are willing to do. And from looking at what's happening so far, the only best resolution that I feel will accommodate to this need is to provide incentive to builders, but even higher than that is to provide and open the zoning of residential zonings, so that the builders are allowed to add additional units to the already allowed residential zoning. Hence, if it's a single residential density, they will be able to do 2 units or 3 units, changing that zoning to an R3. And I think this will be a main factor and the game changer. Still not the best or the only solution, but it is a step forward. If you guys have any questions about this episode, feel free to reach out to me by email, phone call, text. And even further than that, I'll be more than glad to sit down over a cup of coffee and meet you guys and discuss this further. And as always, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click that little icon button so that you get all the recent notifications. Until next episode, take care.